Welcome, 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 Libra. Welcome. You're watching Allastrology. My name is G, and we're going to talk about your April. We're picking you to do first for the videos, for the monthly videos for all the signs. Libra is going to be first because we have a full moon coming up, and it's in your sign. So let's talk about this. Now, at the beginning of the month, the beginning of April, okay, full moon energy. So it's completion, it's endings, it's releases. Full moons are usually family and feelings and emotions. It's like tribe energy, people that you resonate with, like on an emotional level. So it could be people who feel like family, but yet they're not family. They're not blood related. You know, when you hook up with those people and you're like, I never knew them before this. And we met and immediately we felt like family. That's Cancer energy. That's where you grow up and you kind of find your other family, right? Whether it's people you work with or people who have just similar interests that you do, we end up resonating deeply on an emotional level. There's camaraderie even because there's soul memory together. Yeah. Whether our personalities are aware of it or not doesn't matter. We feel it. Yeah, we feel it. So Libran energy, Libra air sign, is the sign of thinking, but thinking not just about myself, but thinking more about we energy, right? Aries energy. A subscriber recently told me, I love when you pull up the pen and show the example. And I was saying, yeah, I used to use a big ass lighter, like, to light the candle and to burn the sage before the videos. And yeah, that lighter broke. So I had to throw it out. So we're stuck with this little pen, but it's the same idea. Aries is over here. Libra is at the opposite end of Aries. Opposite end. Aries is me. Me, right? I. Me energy. Libra, opposite of Aries, is we energy. You and me, baby. You and me. That's Libra energy. It thinks about us. Yeah, it likes to compromise, It's thinking about, okay, how can this be fair? How can we meet somewhere in the middle where you feel like you got a little bit of what you wanted and I feel like I got a little bit of what I wanted, as opposed to Aries energy, which is me, right? So when Aries grows up, and it's important to understand the opposite sign of you for all of us. It's important because we can fluctuate. We can go from being me, and then being at the I, or me only. I'm sorry, we, me, right? So we can oscillate from one side to the other. Okay. So what happens is sometimes Libras, I recognize that Arian energy can be a little on the youngster side, can be a little naive even at sometimes, and it's very driven, very driven. And what it wants usually is what drives it, right? And what does Aries energy want? It wants to be first. It wants to be fast. It has no patience, right? So we all know about like where this is for us, right? For you, because you're Libra ascendant, Libra rising, okay? If you don't know if you are a Libra ascendant, like if you're watching because you're a Libra birthday, that's okay. But you're watching because that's your sun sign, that's your birthday. All right. When you watch these videos, when you go through this series, just make sure that you are reaching out to me and you're saying, gee, I'm watching this because this is my birthday and I don't know what my rising sign is. So what I'll do is I'll make sure that you get that information. I'll make sure that I find that out for you. So we can pair you up the right video. Okay. But you can keep watching if you're a Libra birthday, absolutely, because a lot of these things will make sense to you. You'll be like, yeah, that's who we are. That makes sense. So relationships are very important to Libra people because it's about, I want to compromise. It's not me, it's we, right? Compromise. So this is marriage, this is partnerships, and they can be personal, right? But they can also be business, business professional, meeting up with somebody one-on-one even. If I were to have a consultation with somebody, that's Libran energy. We're meeting, we're talking face to face. and then we have some sort of a deal. It's an agreement, right? Almost like a contract, right? Like when you get married, like that's this agreement. We state our vows, whatever they are, and we say, but this is important to me, and this is important to me, and both parties come together, and they say, we think we've come to an agreement, right? Libran energy wants to compromise. They are known as the diplomat of the zodiac. The diplomat of the zodiac. And some say they're wishy-washy. They can't make up their mind because they're always bouncing back and forth. They're bouncing back and forth. They're not only considering they know what they want, but then they're also going to be considering what is good for both of us. Like, what would my partner want? What's fair? So the thing that happens with Libran energy sometimes, other than people saying, well, they can't make up their mind, right? Remember, we all have Libra energy somewhere, right? So what happens is Libra, Venus as the ruler, Venus's higher octave is Neptune. So Venus can sometimes look at her partner or even herself in that relationship. And I say her because Venus is a feminine energy. Okay. So many times, and then, yeah, Neptune being the higher octave, it can, it can almost sometimes have like those rose colored glasses on. It can, all right? It can be so understanding. It wants peace. It wants everything to be beautiful. It wants harmony, right? That's really important to Libran energy. So it will do all it can to have this, to establish this. It's kind of idealistic, almost perfection, right? Remember, Neptune, higher octave of Venus, is perfection, is very idealistic. And so Libras can kind of get in that situation sometimes where they want so badly for it to be just right. Not recognizing when they do that, like when they force it, this is what's forcing. Aries is the enforcer. Aries is, I'm going to fight for this. Aries is, I'm not going to budge. Aries is, well, I'll just do it my way, right? I'll take action and I'll start it. I'll initiate it. I'll go first. I'll I'll step in and I'll move this hair and I'll do like Libra wants it to be beautiful, right? Harmony, peace, really important, right? And establishing whether it's something in the relationship or even in the home, depending upon, where it's at for a lot of people. But for you, it's typically going to be in your first house. If this is your rising sign reading, if you're watching it for your sun sign, everything that I'm saying will be located in wherever your sun is located. And if you don't know that, again, if you don't know that, just comment to me and I'll get that in your hands so that you can understand that. The ascendant. So Libran people who are Libra risings, Libran energy can be very beautiful because it's Venus ruled. It's Venus ruled. Some Librans can be lawyers because it's about the scales of justice. So even if they're not lawyers, they may have something that involves justice, right? They might be involved in the process, like a litigator or something. They can be involved in the process of law, the process of relationships, the process of I'm here to be the mediator, to make sure that both sides equally compromise. I'm here to kind of guide that process. So consultations and guidance can be involved in this too. Libran energy, right? Compromise, and they want fairness, they want equality. Super, super important. Okay. So when you have a full moon that happens, right? Typically this full moon releases enclosures and completions and endings. All right. So this is for the month of April. Happens right at the beginning of the month. Let me get to the notes here. We're talking April 5th. Now, I have all my notes written down. And so when I'm looking at these notes, there is some interesting energy that's coming up for you, Libras. Okay. This is another reason why I wanted to pick you guys to make sure that you were first. You got the full moon in the beginning, right? And the full moon is at 16 degrees. And if I'm saying degrees and you're like, uh, I don't know what that means. Anyway, same thing as always. If you don't know and you want to know, comment below. I will find out where the 16 degrees of Libra is for you, right? And if you want to get your own life into your hands so that you don't have to be dependent on me, just let me know. I will get a chart to you and the chart will go to your inbox. And I can point things out on your chart, especially for whatever month we're talking about, whatever reading, whatever month, that we're under. I will point those things out. I'll draw lines. I'll tell you what your rising and your ascendant and all that stuff is, because I really want you to know this for you, not for me to tell you. I want you to have this. This is the age of Aquarius. This is when man is literally handed over, where man is like, where it's like, but this is yours. This is your life. This is for you to know, right? That's what this is about. The knowledge in man's hand. And this is a knowledge that was once very common, right? And then things changed in society and cultures and whatever. So we lived, and now we're back at square one again, and we're handing down the knowledge. So the new moon releasing and ending, something about the way you appear will change. Because it's Libra, because it's you. If you are Libran, which is not just about it's we, right? So will you not look like you're in a relationship anymore? That's Libran energy. Will you no longer look fair and balanced anymore? Right? So what does that mean? I don't know. When Libras put their clothes on, their hair, their makeup, it's beauty because it's Venus. Got to look really pretty. That's Venus energy. Absolutely. Remember, perfection, perfection, perfection. And then pushing that perfection. Aries tends to, we go to the Aries side when we push it. And then people are just like, okay, wow, that person's like going overboard or something. Right? And that happens to all of us. So some sort of a release. So maybe, who knows? Depends on where it is in your chart, but you might have to change clothes. You might have to change your hair. It's something about your appearance is changing. For some of you, even your work location or your home location, something might change. It could have to do with your partner, meaning maybe you were working with a partner and maybe you will no longer be working with a partner, right? You might be going solo, right? So that, again, business, personal, right? It could be anything. It could be anything dependent upon how much of your free will that you exercise in your life. You can be an energy bender. You can bend the air. You can bend the water. You can bend the fire. You can bend it all, depending upon who you are. So that is right at the beginning of the month. Something about your appearance is releasing. Something is closing out. Something is changing. It's in relationships. So this could have to do with something with family, because it's a moon sign. It's the moon in Libra. It's an ending and it's a closure. Now, when we get to the latter part of the month, around the third week of April 19th to be exact, we have a new beginning. It's a big deal. I have a lot of videos out about it already, because it is a new moon, but it's a special new moon. It is a eclipse. It is a North Node eclipse, right? North Node solar eclipse, because that's a new moon when the sun and the moon are together, right? They're together. They're one. So it's in the sign of Aries, and it's at 30 degrees. 30 degrees. Yeah. Big deal. Very big deal. Now, this is in your 7th house of significant one-on-one relationships. And yes, that's what I just talked about. I talked about Libran energy, but you have Aries in your 7th house. So what this tells me is there could be a new beginning. A new beginning. And it's in Aries. So are you beginning? Is there a new person coming into your life? Is there a new business partner? Is there some sort of a new sense of freedom you're going to have in a relationship? Because it's Aries energy, which is all about my freedoms, freedom about the action of my body consciousness. Remember the kind of descriptors I gave to Aries energy in the beginning, right? This is a big new moon. Find out where the 30 degrees is. To be exact, it's at 29 degrees and 50 minutes. But because it's over 29:30, we round it up to the next one. Okay. Again, if you don't know, let me know and I will take care of you. I will find out where this is. I will do the best I can for you. Now, the other thing I wanted to talk about, because at the end of the previous month, at the end of March, Mars made a move. Mars finally left after 6 long, intense, crazy months. Mars left the sign of Gemini and is now in the sign of Cancer. Cancer is the same as the moon. It's home, it's family, it's women in general, feminine energy, I should say. It's my tribe. Everything I talked about when I was talking about the full moon, because The moon rules the sign of Cancer. So for Librans, this is typically going to be in your 10th house. Mars will be traveling through your 10th house. Yeah. All of April, the entire month of April. Mars roughly moves 2 degrees in 7 days, 2 degrees in a week. So there's 4 weeks in a month, right? 4 times 2. Did I just do that right? Yeah. 4 4 weeks and 2 degrees a week, right. So that means 4 times 2 is 8. That means Mars only moves 8 degrees in the month of April. So Mars will also still be in the sign of Cancer in your 10th house, um, touching into June, right. I'm sorry, May. I skipped May altogether. April, then May, right. So this is your goals and your ambition. Some say it's a vocation. Some say it's a career energy, my job, even possibly. So it's like Cancer energy, home and family, but it is also your bigger family. The moon represents the public, right? We have 2 families. We have the family in our house, in our home, right? Your physical home can be the moon and the sign of Cancer, can be the physical home, literally the sticks and the bricks. But it can also be the people in the home, the people you're related to by blood. It can also be people that I said were your tribe, people who you have no blood relations with, but yet they feel like family. And there's a third family. Humanity is your family, right? So it's the public when you're dealing with the public. Do you teach? Do you work? Do you have a job where the public comes in and out and you're in contact with them? I have a friend who has this placement, and for a while, like right now, she's a college professor, but she's also, like I think worked for actually a lot of different jobs. And I think every single one of them, except one, was dealing with the public. That one, she worked for a museum, right? Sounds like a public job, something you're doing and working with the public. But her job was kind of like, I don't want to quote this because I could be mixing my story up. Working in the back, working kind of like behind the scenes for the museum and doing, um, yeah, I don't know exactly what what those people do behind the scenes, but if you know, let me know. So yeah, I think it's a career and vocation and job possibly. Now, there's a bigger picture here, okay? And you're probably not going to be real thrilled with it, but I will say there could be things in your chart that bring ease. Because right off the top, when you hear me say Libra, Cancer, right? Libra full moon, new moon in Aries, and Mars in the sign of Cancer. Do you know what it was that I said? What are the 3 things? Those 3 things, what do they have in common? What do they have in common? They're all cardinal signs, right? Libra, Aries, Cancer, they're all cardinal. There are 4 cardinal signs. Capricorn would be the last one. Now, why does this matter? Well, it matters because when we have cardinal energy, they send square energy to each other. So for some of you, this could create a difficult T square in your chart, right? Which means you have something over here, you have something right here, and you have something right here. So that creates like either a left or a right triangle in your chart. And that's usually stress and tension. It can be difficult. Okay. Now, I just told you the areas of your life. So it's your appearance, it's your first house, it's your relationships, your 7th house, your significant one on one relationships, your partnerships, and your midheaven, which can be your goals and your ambitions. And for some of you, this can be your career and your job. So that's where the T square is. It's at the top part of your chart. There's going to be that triangle up there. Okay. And it creates stress and tension. Now, you only have to be super concerned about it when you know the degrees. And so you would look in your chart for the degrees. I'll have all the degrees below the video. I've already said them in the video, but there can be things in your chart that create ease. If Mars is in water, well, if you have any planets in Scorpio and in Pisces, that can create beneficial trine energy. Okay. So Mars being up there at your midheaven is going to make you a little bit more feisty. Okay. Mars, remember, Mars is usually impatient. So this could be arguments among family members, female energy, women in general, or feminine energy. I'll say it like that. But when we say the sign of Cancer, there's a strong feminine energy because it's a lot of that is about a woman's right to have a child or to choose not to have a child. Like, yeah, that whole thing is going to be, uh, well, it's a real thing, and it's yeah, it's something that our U.S., where I'm at, is very passionate about, very fired up about. That's the word I'm looking for. So this can create some uncomfortable times. So once you know in advance, like I'm telling you now, having that Mars energy up there, it tells us that we have to just be aware, because Mars usually brings it can be angry. Think of Mars inflames things, doesn't exaggerate them, it inflames them. It literally can mean cuts and swelling, right? Because Mars is the one with the knife, so it represents like someone getting a surgery type of thing. So yeah, that's why I think we're definitely going to be hearing more and going over more abortion issues in the states, um, and probably wherever you live, wherever country you're in. But inflamed emotions is Mars in the sign of Cancer. Inflamed emotions, big time. Okay. So keep that in mind, because if you were in a professional environment, you would just want to know this in advance, because you may hear things. You may hear people saying things that you're just like, that just get your blood boiling, even because Cancer is a very empathic sign. It can feel things. When people say things, it may not even be the way that they say them. You know how we always say it's the tone, it's the way they said it. Sometimes we can feel the intent behind some of the things that we say. And so we got to be really cautious and careful with that sort of empathic energy. And that goes likewise the other way. When we're saying something, we have to be cautious. We have to be careful, because Mars inflames the emotions. All right. So just keep all these things in mind. And if you got any questions, just comment below and I will help you out in any way I can, Libra. Enjoy. Remember, look for the water to set up beautiful, beneficial energy in your chart. Bye bye. Below the video, I'll have all the degrees for those of you who like to pay attention to the degrees in your chart. Again, if you don't know and you want to know, just comment below.